Okay, so here a quick video on how you print patterns from Clo3D. The first thing you should be doing is go File, Save As, Project, because unless you're having an asymmetric pattern, you will not be printing the full garment, you will only be printing half. So dress block is what I'm using here, and I'm going to call it print or plot. We used to call it plotting rather than printing, but anyway. And so once I have saved that, I can actually switch to 2D window only, and I can delete my back and my sleeve. And then for my front, I need to actually cut to split my pieces and delete the half, right? So now I have half the garment. Working on a symmetric garment, I only need half to print. Okay, so before you print your pattern, you want to obviously be sure that all your lines are correct, your seams are matching, your design is final, you have all pattern pieces. Okay, so just make sure your design is finalized. And then you also want to add seam lines. You also want to see as in how you want to view your darts. You could be, like for example, I would want to shape the dart cap before proceeding, being sure, press enter to make sure it's nice and straight, and then it shows me here the shape of it. In actual fact, I would bring this one up. Instead of having it as a cutout, I will have it as an internal line, and yeah, basically draw my dart as an internal line instead. Okay, then you could do the same for the waist darts here, obviously. Let me just go ahead. So you fix up your pattern as needed. Seam allowances. So this is how we add on seam allowances for sewing. Please do it to all pattern pieces. Don't do one with and one without. It will make things messy. So now let's say I put it all on, but I want 3 centimeters here. How do I change it? So there's no added seams as we maybe have for added sewing and so forth. What you need to do is you need to go into your property editor, and if you're in the seam allowance tool and you click on that, you will have the option of changing this measurement to whatever you want. I'm just going to do 3 centimeters for my hem here. And then what about my center front? So I don't want to have any seam allowance here. You cannot change it here to 0, that won't work, but you can select it and then just press delete on your keyboard, yeah? Because any pattern piece you want to place on the fold line, you want to remove the seam allowance. Otherwise, you may place it on this fold line with the 1 centimeter seam allowance, or you may forget to place it on the fold line. Okay, so just be really aware of what you're doing. Let's say I'm happy with this. I'm going to save. Okay, so now let's say my pattern is ready for printing. Also remember that you must have notches for sewing, right? So you want to put on, here's your notch tool just as a quick revision. This one here, I could put 2 notches here somewhere. They're just to match the same for the center back and the sewing. Okay, and then so for the printing, we go into simulation up here in the right hand side corner and go to print layout. Okay, so for the print layout, this fabric comes up. If you have multiple fabrics, because you have already kind of, let's say you had your design and you have your sleeve in a different fabric, usually before going in a print layout, I change everything to the same fabric, right? So I just make sure it's all like kind of my plain one here, put everything in there. You can have your, if you had multiple fabrics, you would see another one here, and that would be different, and then you have 2 of the markers that I'm going to show you in the next step. Based on what you need, you can do it, okay, but I think usually it's easier to print all your pattern pieces and then just separate them, because you will most likely just save in print cost. So back in here, print layout. So now I have my marker here. Well, not yet, but I have the setup for it. Okay, so this is your fabric width here, and then this white shaded area is your roll of fabric that continues on. Okay, so your fabric, which you could also call paper, you can set your marker width here, and I have set mine to 80 centimeters, so just pay attention to if you're doing inch, millimeters or centimeters. And once you have set that, so just so you know how it works, you could also pick up a pattern piece and place it yourself. You will feel it snaps to the corners a little bit, so you know where to set it. Alternatively, you can press this button here, which it will just position them itself, so the computer does it for you. Once you're done, you go to snapshot. It comes up with this window, which here you need to select one-to-one, right? In case yours is on A4 or anything like that. You could, in theory, let's say you don't have a printer and you need to print this, you can print all these A4 pages and stick them together. Sometimes if you have a small pattern piece, this might work even really well, or A3, but let's say it's one-to-one. So basically exactly as per our marker. This is what we call a marker, a lay plan. So it's 80 centimeters wide and 129 centimeters long. And so this, I leave it, it's set up by itself. Then here you can choose the lines that you want. You can choose images if you have, and you can have additional information. I definitely want to make sure your grain lines or your buttons are on there as well. And then you say, okay, save. Just make sure you are selecting PDF if a PDF is not what you need. And that is basically it. So what I get when I open my PDF is this file here. If I zoom out, I can see that's my whole pattern. Yeah. And so with this, I can send it now to the printing shop, and they will print it off for me, and you will have a pattern that is one-to-one. Okay, so I hope this was helpful, and you can print your patterns now.